AI is not a good writer. Like we have to define what good is, right? But like if it's something that connects with people, no, it's easy to read, it's pleasant, but it's not you, right? And that's what people want now more than ever, with everything that's happening with AI.
Hello and welcome to the Art of Value Whispering podcast. I'm your host, Melitta Campbell, business coach, value whisperer, and advocate for introverted female entrepreneurs and experts who want to build a business that feels natural, authentic, and impactful. I'm joined by Nathalie Doremieux, co-founder of the Membership Lab and a mastermind with her husband Olivier behind Valora, my AI twin that you've hopefully been enjoying alongside the Business Book Festival episodes. In this conversation, Nathalie and I explore how AI can be used to amplify your brilliance, save time, and help your clients take fast action without ever replacing the human connection that lies at the heart of your business. We also look at some of the common fears around AI, how to overcome those, and some simple first steps you can take to start using AI more comfortably and effectively in your own work. As you would completely expect from this episode, you can head to melittacampbell.com/podcast to access the free AI coach tool created just for this episode. Go to that podcast page, click on Nathalie's episode, and Valora, my AI twin, will be there waiting to help you turn the insights from this episode into simple, practical next steps you can take to start using AI to grow your business and your impact. Meantime, let's dive into this fascinating conversation with Nathalie. Hi, Nathalie. It's great to have you with us on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me, Melitta. I'm excited about this conversation.
Yeah, me too. And firstly, a huge thank you from me and the listeners for Valora, my AI twin that has been on all the book festival episodes. That was a product that you have developed, and you didn't just develop it and stick it on the podcast. You actually tested it for every single episode. You really went all out to make sure that it was as useful as possible. So I am really grateful for that. It's an incredible tool. If anyone listening hasn't tried it yet, what are you doing? Wait till the end of this episode, but go and try it out. It really is phenomenal. The advice it gives is like, wow, every time. So a big thank you, firstly, for creating that. We will get to how you created that and the idea behind it and your podcast lead flow products in a bit. But first, I'd love to know, how did you get to become this AI expert that you are today?
Yeah. So first I'll just say it's not just me. It's me and my husband and business partner of 20 years. I should say that because he's really the one that has the ideas around AI. We've been working with AI for 6 or 7 years now, back when we didn't have all the tools at our disposal right now. So you really had to be a developer in order to attempt to create anything with AI, because AI has been around for a long time, right? But like available to business owners like us, not for so long. So in our business, we run the Membership Lab, and one of our values, and one of our mission is really to be problem solvers. That's what people tell about us. It's like, we love to solve problems. So when AI came in, we knew, because it's been around for so long, some people have been using it for so long, we know it's here to stay and it's going to keep growing. We don't know where it is going. But what we know is there is a unique opportunity right now to use it to help us solve problems. And I think that this is really the way we want to look at AI, because otherwise it's too overwhelming, right? There are so many tools that get created every day. It's a full-time job to test everything that's out there. And for all the ones that get created, there are some that just get canned, right? Because they become irrelevant. And it's overwhelming. It is very overwhelming. So we are thinking about it differently. We're like, what is one problem that we could automate that doesn't require us as a human, be more consistent of, right? Or save time. Mm-hmm. And those are about the three things, right, that we look at. So we've had some fails, we can talk about that, with AI, But we're experimenting. Everything is an experiment, right? The first idea with AI came, I think, 7 years ago from Olivier. And it was people who were saying, I have all this recording. It was a group coaching. I have all these recording. I don't know if I want to put them on the platform because nobody listens to them.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband was like, Olivier was like, but there is some gold in there. Maybe somebody didn't come to the call, but would benefit from that question. Or maybe the person wants to go back and re-listen to an answer to a question that they ask, but nobody's going to listen to an hour or 2 hours. Can we create something so that these calls become a bank of knowledge that we can tap into? And that's really how it got started, but created more like custom for individual client before it became like a product. So it started quite a while ago.
Yeah. And the reason they came to you with that question was because you're the team behind many of the big membership platforms that probably most listeners have joined. We've all joined a membership.
Not all of them, but yeah, quite a few of them.
Yeah, so a lot of these big membership platforms, you develop the platform and how that all works for people.
Yeah.
So you've already got that knowledge of what was working. And then, as you say, what's the next problem? How could this work better, save people more time,
Yeah.
add more value? So
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
that approach. So you helped the first person to use AI to turn all their coaching videos into a knowledge bank, which just sounds incredible. What happened next? You mentioned that you had some failures along the way. What was that kind of journey for you like as someone that has this understanding of how tech and AI works already? I think it's quite reassuring to know that you didn't always get it right as well. But what went right? What did you learn? What have you learned about the limits of AI then, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of that tool that we created for that person, we immediately turned it into a product, right? Because we were like, this is something we can actually do and we can actually sell. So one of the, I don't want to call it failure, but like one of the challenges that we've had in business is that people come to us, right? There is this circle of people and they refer us and things like that. We are not doing so well in the marketing and sales space. Let's put it this way. So when you get a new project like this, and that's been a recurring problem, and it's happening with Podcast Lit actually, is that it's very new. So it is not even something that people are looking for. And that's the problem when you're the precursor and you do things before it becomes the norm, is that you have to educate people that even exist, right? So that's always been a challenge. So that took like several years. And basically, we would introduce the product as an option to people that we were working with. So we were not selling it individually because like that would require a whole marketing strategy, right? We were just focusing on the memberships and the online portals we were creating and just selling it to them as an add-on if they wanted it. Now, in terms of our AI experience, when ChatGPT came in and things like that, just like everybody, we tried it. Can it write content for us, right? I am much better now, but like I was very inconsistent in creating content. I didn't know what to talk about. I felt that my style was flat and boring. I'm all like bullet points, static like it is. There is no story. So when you start to use AI and you feed it a couple of ideas, and I mean, what it writes, it's very easy to read, right? It's very pleasing. So you're like, oh, this is amazing. Oh, and it's throwing some emojis and stuff like that. That's cool. But then you eventually realize it's flat. People don't react to it. I don't even use emojis, right? So it's like, it's not me. So it's pleasing to read, but emotionally it does nothing and it's not connecting with people. So when I realized that, we really went back and trying to understand, okay, this is not how we want to use AI anyway, right? What we want to do is we want to use AI as an amplifier. That means that if I want AI to produce something that I can work with, I need to educate it about our product, about the way I think, about my stories, about our offers, about our ideal client, and all these things, right? And that's really been the key in the recurring pattern, if you will, where AI to us is an amplifier, an accelerator. It's not a creator. AI is not a good writer. Like we have to define what good is, right? But like if it's something that connects with people, no, it's easy to read, it's pleasant, but it's not you, right? And that's what people want now more than ever, with everything that's happening with AI. So that's really been the realization. Let's go back to what we wanted to use AI for.
Mm-hmm.
Personalize experience, like searching videos and things like that and showing you exactly where that thing is mentioned in the video. That's what we were doing, right? Creating custom tools for people. Personalization, like, Valora, create something unique for people based on the context. That's where we think the full power of AI is for us, business owners, while still keeping the human in the loop.
Yeah. So taking what we've already created and I say like giving new ways for people to access that information and use it, like Valora, it takes existing information but breaks that down into practical steps, applying that to your specific business challenge. So it wasn't creating anything new. It was just being that kind of not quite an interpreter, but the facilitator in between.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's only one piece of the puzzle. It is only ever going to be as good as what you feed it.
Yeah.
And you feed it two things. You feed it knowledge. So that's you, your method, your unique way of doing things, because you don't want ChatGPT to go out and look at all the other coaches and the way they do things, right? You want the Melitta way. Then you want your listener who has a unique situation, is in a unique position, right? He has a current problem or a struggle, or something that they're working on. And AI is going to put these two together and give them something. It's like the listener is sitting next to you and you're asking them a couple of questions. And based on that, you give them a piece of coaching, right? That's the equivalent. That's the power of AI, of being able to analyze, take your knowledge, take the context, and come up with something that's very unique and very helpful for the listener.
Yeah, I love that. So let's look at what is holding people back from AI and going all in, because I think everybody, certainly in the entrepreneurial space, is all very focused on how can I use AI, but there's also some fears around that as well. So what are the common fears that you've been experiencing, and how can we help the listeners to feel a little bit more comfortable getting out there and, as you say, experimenting with this and seeing how it can be helping amplify their work and their results with their clients?
So I think the first one is, I would say, the lack of quality
Mm-hmm.
into the result. And that comes from several things, right? We talked about the knowledge, and what you feed it, but there is also the way you are asking. Most people still use AI like Google,
Yeah.
right? So that is an issue. So people are worried about quality because they feel it doesn't sound like them, but they are not exactly sure what to do about it, right? Fear that their clients might think, oh my gosh, she's trying to replace herself with AI and that's going to be lower quality.
Mm-hmm.
When this is never the case. We are adding AI to what we're already doing. We are not replacing ourselves, with AI. It's an add-on, right? Another way to help people. So I think like those are like the two biggest, and probably another one would be the overwhelm, the technical aspect of it, being quite good at prompting. It's like, now how do I use this? Because is my data safe, right? And if you create custom GPTs and you upload files, who can see these files, right? Who has access? Is OpenAI using this to feed their database? And they are, right? So there is also this fear of like protecting information, protecting client information, protecting their IP, right? Protecting your IP. So when you've got all these things, there is so much resistance in every step that if you attempt to like do it on your own and you're not this kind of person that really likes to dig and things like that, people are going to give up, right? They'll say like, this is not for me. It's not even good quality. It doesn't sound like me. That sounds complicated. Forget it. I'm just going to stay where I am.
Yeah. Well, that I think that was me, like towards the end of last year, and everyone was using ChatGPT. So I started using it, but I didn't really know what to do. And
Yeah.
so I was putting in like very basic rubbish prompts. And so I was getting very basic rubbish answers. And then I was like, oh, it's just too much to learn. It's all complicated tech. But then I had someone show me how to use it and how to create custom GPTs and how to educate it properly, as you were saying. And now it's amazing. And now all I can see is possibility. It's like, oh, I could do this. And I'm currently working to turn my program into a series of custom GPTs so that my clients can get through faster. Because one of the big problems I see with my clients, at least, and I suspect a lot of the listeners, because it's one of the issues for introverts, we like to think. But that also means we can get stuck in overthinking. And I
Mhm.
think chat can really help overcome that and be there to help people through those moments. So I'm really excited to dig in and yeah, see where it goes next. But you see a lot more than I do. I'm just seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Mhm.
Obviously, you said earlier, we just don't know where this is going to go in the future. Where do you think this is going to go in the near future? Have you got any ideas that you're excited about?
So I think like where this is going, so I can tell you like in the context of the e-learning space, because membership online programs, group coaching programs, like what we are doing is we are using AI as a way to get people into more action,
Yeah.
right? Because before what were we doing? We're doing what? Let's do more calls, right? So that we do implement together, like to get people into action. And now we are moving from, these videos where people are passive, they are learning. And then comes time to do like the work. And then some people would do it, some people would get stuck. And now we're getting into learning, doing, learning, doing, learning, doing, which is getting people into action, right? Instead of all this learning mode. And that's going to be a good thing because that shows people that they can make even tiny steps, they can make steps. So it builds their confidence. Everybody's going to win at the end. They're going to get results faster. You're going to get happier clients. Everybody wins, right? So when AI is going to be used this way, and that's why custom GPTs are such a great tool that we have at our disposal, right? That gets your program automatically more actionable.
Yeah.
Okay.
And faster,
Because,
I think you get. And
yeah, faster.
we were
Yeah.
talking with Fabienne Fredrickson about leverage and how do you go more. And it was really this shift in mindset. And I think that AI can really help be a catalyst behind thinking bigger and achieving more without the burnout and being that little bit braver because we kind of avoid. She made the point that um, when we work in isolation, as so many, particularly women, do, that leaves a lot of scope for overthinking, but self-doubt, and that can hold us back. And I think chat can really help us through those moments
Hmm.
do more action so that there's no space for
Absolutely.
doubt and fear and all of that that
Yeah.
can typically stand in the way. So yeah, exciting.
Absolutely. I mean, what we're seeing, and by the way, that's where I hope AI is going in the e-learning space, right? Because the tools are there and we are seeing people using it. Like even the first level to anyone who has an online program and is wondering, what can I do? Well, you can add an extra level of support with an AI assistant that knows about your program, knows about your support system, knows when the calls are happening. And right there, you have 24/7 support that can give your members, your clients, this first level of support. It's not replacing anything that you have right now, but it's an extra level, right? So that's like one way you can get one foot into AI. I think it's more looking into it this way versus to figure out, okay, what kind of custom GPT can I write? Because that's overwhelming. Okay. Like it's like, oh, what can I write? What file do I need? How do I write the prompt? That's the how, right? So right now you want to figure out what do I want to create and why? What is it going to give me, my business, or my clients and members? And then you get help to figure it out if you need to. You can imagine that Fabienne is not writing custom GPTs, right? That's really not something that she ever wants to do. That's one of the things you learn with leverage. Let's stay in your zone of brilliance, where you shine, where you all have all the energy, and then you let go or hire out the rest.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I think, as you say, AI is just going to give us more scope to stay in that zone of genius and find the right way to have the rest of your business support and working smoothly as well.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
think there is really an opportunity to use AI to amplify our unique way,
Yes.
right? And some people are using, I'm sure you see these on LinkedIn, like, what is it? Like, create your course completely with AI in like X minutes. How do you think that's going to fly, right? What are the chances that it is my knowledge? The knowledge has to come from us, right? Or a podcast, I don't know how many episodes per month they generate, but it's huge. And it's all generated by AI. I have no interest in is listening because there is no human behind. So I'm like, that doesn't really speaks to me. So all of this is on volume. We have an opportunity to keep the quality, keep it unique, and us making it consistent through the automations and getting time back, right? Like that's what leverage is as well. It's like, right, how do we still get people the result without it being tied to our time? If you don't want to add more calls, right? More calls to your calendar and things like that. But can you use AI to create tools to help them? Especially if you keep repeating yourself all the time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And as you said, putting on more calls is great, but that doesn't necessarily equal more support because it's overwhelming. I mean, who can go to a call every single day? So
Exactly.
having a tool that can support alongside those live sessions, yeah, would probably offer more value.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
absolutely.
So, do you have any sort of recommended steps for people on how to start using AI more within their business and get really comfortable with using it to sort of amplify and add value and do that in the correct way?
Yeah. So I think it really depends where you're at with AI. Also, your level of like, are you alone or do you have a team?
Mhm.
Right. But also, I think it's important to also look at your audience. There are audiences that might not be ready or want to, get into AI. Like I'm thinking maybe older people, that are still very like old-fashioned type of calls and things like that. And if you start giving them custom GPTs and things like that, how is this going to fly? Right. So we have to kind of like take that into account. But in terms of like, where do I start? I would say look at what it is that you want to change in your business. Do you want your clients to get results faster? Do you see people getting stuck somewhere? Like there is a step, and like every time they come back on the call, they still have more questions, they still haven't sent the email, that could be an indicator. Okay, can I create something here? So if you look at it as a problem solution, right? Maybe you think, I'm not consistent in creating content. I can create content, but like I'm not consistent. Okay, can I have AI to support me in being consistent? And what does that look like? And by the way, AI is great at coming up with plans. You can literally tell it, okay, I am inconsistent. I'm going to do something for like 2 days and then I'm going to give up. So you need to break this down for me. This is how much time I can allocate every day. And just tell me, what document I need to create, what it looks like. And it will go as far as creating the spreadsheet for you, right? But you really need to tell it the truth of like, it's overwhelming to me. I never know what to talk about. So it is going to create tasks for you up front on what you could be talking about so that when you need to create the content, you don't have to say, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to record a video today, but I don't know about what. The work has been done before. So it's a great project planner for that. So that's one thing that you can do, like be more consistent. So another thing that you can maybe look at is if your team or you are constantly being hit by questions like, where is this? How do I find out? Blah, blah, blah. Can you create an assistant that can help them? Especially if it's always the same question over and over and over, right? So I think you need to look at it this way, like, is there a problem? And can I find a solution? Or is there something I want to improve? Do I want to save time? Do I want to be more consistent? Do I want to help my clients? Which two different ways, right? AI for my business, for myself internally, and then AI as a tool to help my clients, my members.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. I love those two ways of thinking, and it's gonna, yeah, makes all the difference.
Yeah.
I want to come back to two things you said. So one was about this fear of the quality won't be good enough, but what can we do to help improve the quality of the results that we create? Is it all about educating it first? Well, how do we go about that? What's your views?
Yeah, so I mean, we talked about custom GPTs. So for internally for you, projects is really like the next level from custom GPTs. So using projects is great because it actually remembers the previous conversation. So the more you use it, the more it is going to know about you, from the questions that you're asking. Like you said, you need to feed it information. So you need to tell it who your ideal client is, what are your offers. You need to tell it, like, what are your values? What do you stand for? Like, what makes you tick? Give it examples. It loves examples. That's the best way for it to really analyze and provide better output. And I think one big thing that most people don't do is you want to challenge it, because you've probably noticed AI is very nice. If you ask it something, it will always find something good to say about it. And you say, I want you to not sugarcoat it, like tell me like it is, right? And when it says something, I often ask it, okay, now I want to criticize what you just created. And if you do that, you'll see it's going to justify what it said. So it's going to say, okay, so I did this because this. And here are the places where I could improve. This. Do you want me to do that? Yes. And you'll see that the second thing that it creates is already so much better than the first one, right? So it literally, if you think of it as really having a conversation with one of your team member, and you have a conversation and you'd say, okay, are you sure, Nathalie? Like, can we make it a little better, or is that it? And then it's always going to try to find something and criticize its work and make it a bit better. And you can say, no, that doesn't sound like me. And you can add it more example. Here is an example of a post or an article or a transcript of a video that I did that really resonated with people, and like, that's me. And I want you to do something like that, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a muscle,
Yeah.
right?
Great advice. I love that. Thank you. The other thing that I wanted to come back to was you said right back in your early days of developing something with AI, and then you thought, oh, we could package this as a product for someone else. Do you see this as being, once we can really understand how to use AI to accelerate results, maybe for ourselves as well as for our clients, that we can turn this into an additional income stream by then packaging and selling some of what we develop to other people?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you see this already. A lot of people are selling prompts and things like that, right? So, like, when I see download my 1,000 prompts, like, I run away. I was like, I don't need 1,000 prompts. And I don't know which one, like, no, right? So, this is like quantity, and this is for people that are like, they're scared of missing out and they don't know what they're looking for. So, therefore, anything that is free with AI, I'm just going to take. I'll download it. Never open the PDF, but I'll download it, right? So, and there are a lot of people that sell these type of things, right? So I think it's working now. It's not going to work for too long. I don't think so. However, what can work is having access to an assistant that is loaded with your program, that is more like a self-study. But it's not going to be a custom GPT. As of right now, we cannot monetize custom GPTs, right? Because they are outside. You don't control who has access. A client gives it to a friend, the client leaves your program, they still have access, the friend still has access, right? So if you want to turn this into a product that you can sell, it really needs to solve a problem for people. And that could be, an AI tool that helps you write your newsletter, for example, a newsletter writer, right? But it would have to be like protected, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a way where you control who has access if you want to monetize it, right? So the person would be able to upload all their previous newsletters, and everything about them and their offer and their audience and how people like to read the newsletter and things like that, right? And then there would be some knowledge around how to write a newsletter, that gets read and that gets engagement, blah, blah, blah. And then it would come up with like drafts and ideas, right, that they could take on to create. So that would be one way, but it cannot be a custom GPT. I don't know if people sell. I think people might sell custom GPTs. I don't think that that's necessarily a good long-term viable idea.
Yeah, you might, as you say, you might be able to sell it, but then you can't protect it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fantastic. Nathalie, I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much. You've been so open. Is there anything you feel we haven't touched on that would help the listeners in their AI journey from here on in?
Well, I think that the people, and I'm just being honest here, like the people that are trying to put some blinds and ignore AI are going to eventually be at a disadvantage, right? But there are different levels of using AI, all right? Of course, like we've seen. So I would encourage anyone who's like scared and doesn't want to look at it to explore maybe one way that they could start using it and identify what it is, it's a mindset thing, like what it is. Scared of the tech, worried that my clients would think I'm being lazy and I want to replace my calls with this and it's not good enough, like what it is. And surround yourself with people who are using AI. Be curious about what others are doing, and just get one foot, in there. But that problem solution, I think, is a great way to approach it and just do one thing. I would not like listen and download everything that is going on out there. It's just overwhelming.
Yeah, there's so much and so many tools, the new ones popping up all the while. And I guess you could even ask ChatGPT, teach me how to use ChatGPT.
Absolutely. I mean, you could say, I want to spend an hour a week learning about ChatGPT. So can you create a program for me? I want to learn how to prompt. I want to learn how to create images. I want to learn how to create my own custom GPT, things like that. And it's going to come up with the program, right? So you can literally ask it almost anything like that. It's just that when you ask it to think and come up with ideas, just know that it needs to know about what's in here if you want it to resonate, like you.
Yeah. And in here, she was pointing to her head for anyone that's not watching the video.
Yes, sorry. Yes, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a podcast lead flow form for this episode.
Yes, great.
And this is going to help people figure out what is their next step. Why don't we do that with AI?
Sounds amazing. Yeah, then they can really test it out for themselves. And
yeah, exactly. Test it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been so good with the book festival episodes, helping people really get some practical next steps that are doable with their resources, but also encouraging and stretching them a tiny bit. As I say, I've been really impressed. So I'm excited to test out the one for this episode as well.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So, Nathalie, if people want to learn more about your work, where's the best place for them to find you?
Yeah, so people can go to themembershiplab.com or they can go to podcastleadflow.com as well. And I am also on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn every day. If you want to connect with me and have a chat, then we can do that there too.
Fantastic. Thank you. And we'll put all the links in the show notes page, which you can find at melittacampbell.com/podcast. Brilliant. Nathalie, again, thank you so much for your time. I've loved this conversation.
Me too. Thank you so much, Melitta.
Thank you for joining us today. I hope you have enjoyed this conversation with Nathalie and that you're walking away with some fresh ideas about how you can be using AI to amplify your impact, streamline your work, and better support your clients. If you did enjoy this discussion, I'd love to hear what resonated with you most. Come and let me know over on LinkedIn. You'll find me there at Melitta. That's Melitta with 2 T's. And do share this episode with another big-hearted business owner who might be hesitating when it comes to exploring AI. And don't forget, to help you turn your newfound insights into practical actions, Valora is waiting there for you on the show notes page, which you will find at melittacampbell.com/podcast. You answer 3 short questions, and in minutes, she will share some practical insights that you can take based on everything shared on today's episode and specific to your business challenges. Meantime, I'm Melitta Campbell, your business coach and value whisperer, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next episode next Wednesday. Bye.